I didn't grow up hunting. I didn't know anyone who hunted. When I was growing up, my exposure was media, which tended to mostly just talk about trophy hunting stuff in a relatively negative way. And then knowing that hunting existed in terms of people who went out and hunted to bring the meat home. And it wasn't until I went to college that I actually knew some people who grew up hunting. So I got a little more of an idea of what that was. Not a lot, but I started to understand it a little bit more. And also my first realization that there was an element of population control by the hunters when they hunt. There was actually a year where I guess the population got out of control in some capacity. There were so many deer that you were allowed to get one more than what was normal, or most commonly the case in the previous years. So that started me to understand a little bit more that there was more to hunting than just the hunt. It served a bigger purpose with nature and society, which I don't think, well, I didn't realize. I didn't know that at all. And more recently, I've become friends with some very avid hunters, people who grew up hunting, and I've really started to understand it more by them sharing their stories and conversations, social media stuff. And I've really come to realize there's definitely the trophy version of hunting, and I can't speak to that. I don't know anyone who does that to my knowledge. But the people I know who hunt, it's really become very clear to me how much time goes into the whole process of it. All of the practice, whether it's a bow or a gun, practicing and practicing so you're as accurate as possible, not only so you make the kill, but so you're hitting it in a very specific place, which I can't actually tell you what the places are, but there's places that when you make contact, it's a very quick kill and the animal suffers as little as possible and goes as quickly as possible. And clearly, well, to me, that's a sign of respect for the animal. They don't want them to suffer. And I don't think people thought about that, the people who don't understand hunting. I definitely didn't. There's just so much more that goes into everything about it, from all of the practice to the waiting to whatever weather you're in. And though there's a component of fun, there's also, from my understanding, it's tough, it's hard, it can probably be boring, and there's a lot of waiting and who knows what weather you're in, but it's worth it. And it's worth it to do it well, because then you get to feed your family with that. And it's also meat that hasn't been messed with in ways that a lot of other meats have. Though I don't eat meat that has been hunted at this point, I don't have access really, I do care about the quality of my meat, not only the animals themselves, but how they interact with the planet and them sustaining each other. If you will, mimicking to the best of a controlled situation, nature. The earth sustains them, they sustain the earth, they work together, and those are the type of places I order from because I don't have access to hunted meat. So I've really come to appreciate at least those types of hunters and what it means to them, and the level of respect for the animal and nature in general, which I think is pretty cool. My name is Zamia Cohen. I'm a non-hunter, and this is my perspective on hunting.